All right, Fit Fam, let's get down to it. We got a comparison going today. Eduarda versus Eduarda, Isa versus Isa. Olympia to Arnold, okay? So this is actually fan requested video. I think I did mention it in my breakdown of the Arnold that, hey, maybe we need to do a little comparison here. But a lot of you commented, right? So keep the comments rolling. A lot of you are commenting like, hey, do this video, do that video. I put it on my list. Go hit that list, all right? So I appreciate the feedback in the comments all the time. And keep in mind, we got tons of these rolling. So make sure you subscribe, even turn on notifications if you want to make sure you don't miss these videos, because we're going to be blasting so many out about Arnold and everything else. It's all to, not only give you some entertainment in the bodybuilding world, but also help you on stage. That's why I would do these, okay? So we're looking at Eduarda versus Eduarda, and this is really a very dramatic difference, you guys. When I was doing the breakdown, I was looking at the Arnold photos, and a lot of people were very shocked in a lot of ways that Isa came and she took second to Eduarda here, who now won the Arnold title over the current wellness champion. I mean, whoa, that's crazy stuff, you guys, especially when we consider Eduarda's timeline and how fast she's climbed the ranks to get to this point. But when you put these photos side by side, which I had not done before making this video, I mean, I was like, holy, everything I said in the original Arnold video was beyond accurate, but also like to a degree that is even further than I thought. The improvements she has made are just insane. So let's go ahead and highlight those. And then we're going to look at Isa at the end here. This video itself will not compare specifically Isa and Eduarda back and forth. I already did that. So if you want to go watch those are videos we already did. All right, let's take a look. So Eduarda here. Here's her at Olympia, okay? She takes third at Olympia, which is her first Olympia in, anything, but also wellness division, which is just crazy. Then now she wins Arnold Classic over here. So that's our kind of line right here, if you will, between these two photos. And I mean, very, very noticeable improvements. So we'll highlight them. But I think anybody looking at the screen sees that pretty much instantly. So we can see, overall shoulder shape here is good. It's definitely a base there, tapers in the waist, glutes and quads, and, hamstrings, everything is where it should be. Part of my feedback back then, I did believe, was like, okay, maybe a little too symmetrical of a look for her, right? She has a little bit of that shoulder forwardness, too much shoulder look in a way compared to the lower body. Even though the lower body was there, could have upsized that a bit. That was my feedback at that time. Well, look over here at Arnold physique, okay? So she wins the Arnold Classic Wellness title, which puts her in a very serious spot to be able to, maybe take the Olympia title here. In fact, I want to know what you think. Do you think Eduarda is the future of wellness? Comment that. Do you think she has a shot at Olympia this year? Or do you think Fran's going to come in, Isa's going to level up, whatever? I want to know. But if we look over here, it's basically down to every single thing she could have improved did get improved. So shoulders here, even though don't have really more size, they do have more shape, a little bit more fullness, a little bit more roundness, which I think is good on her physique and good for wellness competitors in general, right? Like judges continue to do this. They make the delineation where obviously you want that lower body dominance, but that doesn't mean we ignore the shoulders. You don't want to leave, smaller shoulders up top in the sense of like it doesn't look like you lift. You want to have that roundness, that fullness, and you want your lower body to be dominant to that look. So still have that muscle mass that really makes a massive difference for her. So she has that. It is very dominant in the shoulder look, in the arms that match. Everything is good here. And, you could get the inkling of like, okay, that upper body, if you were just looking at that, like imagine you can't see the lower body here. If you're just looking at upper body, you could start to say, wow, that looks like a lot of muscle on a wellness competitor. I could say that. But when you look lower body, no way, because really the glutes are so full here. Her quad sweep has dramatically improved. She's added so much size and muscle to her lower body. It is still blatantly disproportionate. So she still has that lower body dominance, very clean and clear compared to the upper body at this point, and it is just pronounced. She even tapered in her waist more, right? If we look at the waist, this is a much more narrow of a look here than even here. She brought her condition just a tad tighter too, I would say, right? We have a little bit of a softer look going on over here, maybe just a tad, just a hair tighter over here, and that honestly could just be due to the muscle. But realistically, this transformation in this timeline is a big deal, folks. I mean, that is a big change from Olympia to Arnold right now. And I mean, who knows where we're going to go from here? This is looking like she's a major, major threat for the Olympia title. Now we look here, quarter turn pose. Just to show you a little bit more, I did pull these photos from her individual routine. So not every competitor is even going to hit these poses exactly in that routine. But what we'll see here is, again, just all the noticeable improvements. It's a little bit more of a closer look in the upper body from here where you can still see, okay, yeah, shoulder shape, everything there. But this did improve shape-wise, just a tad little bit more. Better taper at the waist. Again, very, very narrow, especially compared to Olympia, which is, she still killed that look, but just a tad smaller. And that makes a big difference because that sweeps that look a lot more, which, again, is a dramatic effect judges are looking for. So if you want to be in wellness, keep working that look. Get the waist narrow. Keep working on the upper body. Get the shape. Don't overdo it. And really let the lower body take the show, which it does in this side pose. I mean, look at the difference in the size of her quads here. This is astronomically different. That is a lot of different shape, a lot of different muscle. Same in the glute, same in the hamstring. She came into Arnold vastly improved, okay? She still has the same shape as far as it goes over here at Olympia, but she does not have near the size that she brought to Arnold. I mean, it almost looks like this looks like somebody photoshopped it in a way, right? It looks like, oh, you took that photo and then you stretched this out and you did whatever, like influencers do on the internet. But this is the real straight up competition photo from the website. So dramatic improvements, right? And judges, you guys, they do note this, especially those of you out there that have been competing a while. You're going to nationals all the time, trying to get a pro card, you're getting feedback. Judges do remember your physique, and you better believe they remember you if you are taking third at Olympia out of nowhere, right? Like Eduarda, they're going to be like, wow, that is a dramatic improvement. The same thing I'm saying, they have noticed, trust me. Now, back pose. This is where it is so vastly just seals the deal. I mean, you could not have given this placing to anyone but Eduarda based on the improvements she made at this point. So Olympia physique, it does get a tad symmetrical looking from the back here. We have the shoulders, everything tapers in good. Lower body still just edges, a little bit more dominance, but it's not nearly as developed as where we're talking about now. Still has the upper glute shape, overall glute shape, a little bit of that quad sweep from the back, that separation, the tie-in, everything is there. But she really does, it's all there. It's symmetrical though, more so. And, it's good. It's wellness. But looking over here, what happened? Night and day, okay? Night and day difference yet again. You see just a little bit more of that shape from the back, almost improved the way that looks, probably through some posing here as well. You'll note her elbows are a little bit higher over here than they are over here. That helps the lower body look, a little bit more dominant, but it didn't really matter because the lower body is clearly so much more dominant at this point. I mean, she added so much size to her glutes, so much development to the overall upper glute, so much development to this tie-in region, which is the hamstrings and the glutes, kind of insertion points. So much development to the quad sweeps. I mean, this is a dramatically different look. It almost looks like two different competitors, but we're talking about literally months apart here from Olympia to Arnold. So very improved, dangerous look for any wellness competitors out there. Fran and Isa, maybe they're watching the video. This is something you got to be concerned with. You got to really go add some size and keep pushing that. I mean, this is a dramatic improvement for Eduarda. And looking at this is a very big stamp, on, okay, I'm coming for Olympia and I may just get it. So I want to know what you guys think. I mean, that's dramatic improvements. Comment it down. Isn't that insane to see in that time frame how much that has improved? And at this point, I mean, doing this video, you can't really go either way. I compared Isa and Eduarda in a previous video, kind of side by side, and I really had a hard time saying Isa could have won it. I really could never say at this point there was a way that Isa pulled that off. Now, I want to look at Isa, okay? So Isa, obviously our current wellness champion for Olympia. She won the Olympia. She comes to Arnold. She takes second. That's a big deal because that does not happen very often. Usually when we see Olympia athletes, competing at the Arnold, it's not really going to happen in that way. They'll usually have a very good chance at winning that because the Olympia is not that far away from the Arnold, for one. And for two, if you won the Olympia, high chance that you're still going to be the best when you go to stage again against some of the same folks, right? However, wellness very close at this point between, our top three, what is becoming our top three. But Isa, great quality physique, really exemplifies wellness very, very well. I think what the problem was, if she improved, it's minute, okay? Like, look at these different side by side. I would honestly say Isa's better at Olympia, just looking at this, and we'll go over why. But, she has shoulder shape, a little bit more fullness, right, in this pose. So this is Olympia, obviously, you guys, if I have to explain this. Arnold over here. So a little bit more shoulder fullness, which I think is an important thing to note for, Eduarda, who's bringing a lot more shoulder in. You don't want to lose your shoulder fullness compared to Eduarda, or, in Fran, even in that instance, because Fran usually has pretty full shoulders. So Isa, kind of really did have this good look at Olympia with a little bit of fullness here. It's still there. You can still tell, she has that deltoid shape, that shoulder shape. But it did downsize a bit. It looks a bit more depleted, right? And also this may be due to dieting. I'm not sure. But I'm getting, more bicep veins, things like this than we do over here. So she had a little bit of a fuller look at Olympia than she did at the Arnold, at least upper body wise, okay? Waist, pretty comparable. Maybe just a tad more narrow here. And that could be, again, maybe just a tad more dieted for her. Not a huge difference, though. Not a big improvement. Lower body wise, in this shot, at least from this angle, she appears to have more muscle mass lower body in, the Olympia look with the quads and the glutes than she does over here. Shape is all the same, keep in mind. But again, we're talking about maybe her being at the same level as Olympia, and maybe slightly less. Not at all that she really improved from the Olympia thus far. And that's a big deal. When you look at Eduarda and the dramatic improvements she made compared to Isa here, that's a big difference that is going to affect scoring considerably, okay? Looking here at the quarter turn. So quarter turn pose here gets a little different. This is where you start to see, okay, maybe she did make some improvements. Let's take a look, right? So shoulder shape at Olympia still looks a little bit more full, but, this side pose, quarter turn pose, in other words, does improve it a bit in this look. Waist taper, sorry for the sniffling, guys. I'm still a little bit under the weather here. Bear with me. Waist taper, honestly looks a little bit tighter at Olympia, I think. It looks a little bit better. So, even though it might have looked a little bit different in that front pose, didn't really show through here. Looking lower body wise, maybe her glutes look just a little bit more fuller. I don't know. It could just be an illusion. Could be a camera look here. They don't look all that different, though. Her glutes don't look all that different. Her hamstrings look like they've atrophied a tad, which means reduced in size. So a little bit less development in hamstrings over here. And I would say maybe, really just right on par with quads, or maybe slightly a little bit down on quads. So, at best, we could say she brought the same look here in this quarter turn. And again, maybe at worst, she lost a little bit of muscle. So again, when you're going up against Eduarda right here, with all that muscle, that's a big difference. That's gonna affect you, right? And Isa always does have this really good glute pop because of like her, overall frame, but that doesn't necessarily signify mass, okay? And let's look from Isa from the back here. Right here, guys, just to make a note, we're using Gilco, a screenshot from the Gilco, because NPC News Online still does not have a photo of Isa's back pose from Arnold for whatever reason. So that's why it looks a little different. However, the story still can get told here. So back pose at Olympia, it's all here. Everything's good. Shoulders where they should be. Tapers in. Boom, boom. Look at the lower body, though. Okay, and this is where maybe we do see, okay, Isa did improve the glutes a bit. Just a little bit more size, right? But however, at Olympia, I would say that, at Olympia, she had better 3D effect to the glutes, right? So they may have been a little bit less muscular, a little bit less developed than we see over here. But for some reason, they're not popping. We're not getting as much pop in the 2025, the Arnold physique, as we are at the Olympia here. So Olympia maybe, she did have a little bit more of that 3D effect to the glute, which brought through that tie-in a bit more. And, her quads and her hamstrings, everything's there. And that really was a slam dunk look for her. Looking over here right now, still good. Everything's there. But again, I don't really think it looks like it's improved much. Maybe a little bit more size, just a tad, maybe a little bit more in the quad here. But we're not getting as much of that 3D look from the tie-ins, from the glutes and everything, which kind of can indicate maybe a little bit too depleted, need to fill out a little bit more. And that's kind of also what we saw upper body. So maybe chasing, dieting a little bit more, chasing a little bit more condition. I'm not sure. definitely, again, we're talking about at best staying on par, not making a significant improvement from Olympia to, the Arnold, which when we look at Eduarda, who really kind of slam dunked away her physique, which was already third at Olympia, and just put it to bed. I mean, she dramatically improved. There's no way that doesn't go noticed by judges, and it also doesn't mean that it's dramatically different. Like, dare I say it, Eduarda had the Arnold physique at Olympia, last Olympia, she would have won Olympia because it just is the way it stacked up, But you see, Eduarda did not have that look. She looked a little bit too symmetrical. She did not have as much muscle. She didn't have that. So then that was a clear win for Isa, right? Because, Fran kind of slipped up in her pose a little bit, and that put Isa in the slot. Well, right here, I think that, it's a very dangerous game now for Fran and Isa, who probably felt pretty stable, in other words, in, their placings at not only Arnold, but Olympia. And, okay, we're top two. We go back and forth. We'll see who's going to win. And Eduarda has come in as a new competitor now who is looking like she could be the future of this division. And that is a clear marker from judges also, by the way, for all of you watching. The fact that she wins over the Olympia champion is a pretty good sign that the judges are going for more muscle, a little bit full of her look. They want those variables. Everything I said in this video, I said a lot more too in previous videos. This is a stamp for you, all you wellness competitors out there. Pay attention, okay? Be building that muscle, be working on that. Don't go to stage, not improved, because Isa, that's kind of unfortunately what we're talking about. Isa didn't really improve her physique all that much, if at all, and she may have even retraced, gone a little bit backwards. I will say this, though, for Isa, because we do kind of see that with her. She does tend to, not compete at necessarily always her next best. It usually goes like she's at her best, and then, okay, this might have been a little bit the same or a little bit back even, and then she goes 10 steps ahead. So who knows? Either way, what I can tell you, Olympia is going to be very, very interesting in wellness this year, ladies and gents. It's going to be a very exciting time. But I think doing these comparisons, looking at this, there's no way you could have possibly even at this point said Isa should have won that. And I don't really think that anybody will after seeing the comparisons here in this video. So I want to know what you think. Do you think, though, am I wrong? Should Isa have won? It doesn't make sense. Eduarda, or do you think Eduarda's totally, this dark horse has come out of nowhere and she's going to just take over wellness division? Very exciting time. Either way, I want to know. And if you have any other videos that you want me to do, comment that down below and I'll bring those to the table. All right. Thank you for watching. Coach Ryan is out.